I'm going to stand. Sure. Good morning. It's the Sports Analytics Conference. We ought to be a little... Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes. Welcome. On behalf of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, welcome to the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. My name is Dave Schmidtlein, and I'm Dean of MIT's Sloan School of Management. It's so great to welcome you all here. It's not a party if people don't come, and it is so amazing to see, I think this year, 3,100 participants in this great conference. Yes, that's amazing. I want to begin by thanking the speakers and the panelists. This isn't a great conference without them. They're coming from great distances and in many cases year after year has been so important to making this the great event that it is. I also want to thank the sponsors of this event. We're very proud to participate and to cooperate and to partner with the great organizations who are themselves leaders in the world of sport and who have chosen to support this conference as it's grown. I can remember when this conference took place in a small tiered classroom on the MIT campus. And this year, you know, it's extraordinary. It's a reflection of the way that sports itself has changed. It's actually a reflection of the way that management has changed. You know that analytics in sport began, maybe 15, 20 years ago and grew especially over the last 10 or 15 years, beginning with decisions around player personnel and real estate, but then based on the success of that kind of analytics, growing so quickly, to look at in-game strategy, to look at the experience of fans, both in person and online, and so on. We're not at the end of that growth of impact and that breadth of analytics in sports. But one of the things that I've been so delighted to see around the issues of sports management is how 20 years ago, the management of sports was kind of the poor stepchild of management around the country and around the world. And now you see technology companies, consumer packaged firms, financial services firms choosing to gather around sports enterprises because it is those enterprises who are leading the way with respect to customer relationship management, strategy, and so on through the use of analytics. The last thing I'd like to do is to thank Jessica Gelman and the students who have done such an amazing job in putting an event like together. It is really quite rare to see a student-led event of this scale succeed this many years in a row. I'm proud of the MIT Sloan students. You'll hear from two of their leaders in just a minute. But the person I'm going to turn the microphone to next, Jessica Gelman, who's the Vice President for Customer Marketing and Strategy for the Kraft Sports Group, is really the person whose vision and passion, her dedication, has made this conference successful for 9 years now. I can't thank her enough, but I can continue to hope that someday, Jessica, you'll have as many MIT sweatshirts as I have New England Patriots sweatshirts. We have a ways to go. Please say thank you to Jessica Gelman.
Thank you, Dean Schmidtlein. You have been such an awesome supporter of what we've been doing over the last 9 years, so thank you very much. Welcome to the 9th annual MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, otherwise known as the Super Bowl of Sports Analytics, the World Series of Nerds, and Dorkapalooza. This year, it's been pretty incredible to see the growth of sports analytics, both in breadth and depth. From a breadth perspective, hopefully those of you who are watching what's happening in sports analytics are aware of the deep investment that we're starting to see in hockey. ESPN actually called it the summer of analytics, as there were 3 statisticians and economists who were hired by NHL teams. Also, in terms of breadth, we've seen a huge increase in daily sports fantasy. And we have a couple of sponsors here who are really the leaders in that space. In terms of depth, last year we introduced athlete analytics for the first time. And that concept of wearable technology is huge. And not only do we have a wearable technology panel, but in terms of depth this year, we also have a sports science panel, because we're starting to see just wanting to understand more and more who the athlete is and what they're doing at a genetic level. So we have an awesome 2 days planned here, really awesome. As Dean Schmidtlein mentioned, we have over 3,100 people in attendance. That is a 55% growth from last year. Little stat for you guys. We have an 1,800 person wait list, and we do have a webcast going on right now. So in terms of attendance here, over 300 sports organizations, over 250 colleges and universities are represented, and 105 sports teams. Speaking of sports teams, we have world champions from all 5 of the major US leagues: the San Antonio Spurs, the LA Galaxy, the LA Kings, San Francisco Giants, and the New England Patriots. I'm especially proud of that one. So panels remain the cornerstone of this conference, and this year is no exception. If you've had a chance to look through our list of speakers, you will have noted that we have 3 commissioners here, and they're actually all speaking today. We have Don Garber, who is the commissioner of MLS, and he is ushering in the 20th season for that league. And they've obviously seen incredible growth in the past year, but really over the past decade. We have Rob Manfred, who recently became the commissioner of Major League Baseball, and he's made some headlines with talking about increasing or speeding up the pace of baseball, as well as some major changes that he's made at the league offices. And then we have Adam Silver from the NBA, who has been a longtime supporter of the conference. He's actually been coming here since the 2nd year of the conference, when it was still at MIT. And I think we have a kickoff panel that'll be in this room right after. It starts at 9. It's called Innovators and Adopters. We have Jackie McMullen, who again has been a longtime conference supporter. She'll be moderating that panel, which will include Shane Battier, who, if you guys don't know, hopefully you've all read the New York Times article by Michael Lewis. He was one of the early adopters as an athlete using analytics. And Michael Lewis will also be on that panel, as will crowd favorite Jeff Van Gundy, and our very own Daryl Morey. So I'm gonna just, there's maybe some questions. Where is Daryl? Well, he's here. He's in the house. He does have a slightly diminished role this year, but he's still been helping up behind the scenes. But really, he's been so busy becoming best friends with Charles Barkley. So that's what we've just allowed him. It's hard to come up with all those good one-liners. So Charles Barkley will not be here. All right, so I'm very happy to announce some new elements and innovations for this year. First and foremost, I want to make sure you guys check out all the things that are kind of happening in the side rooms over on the other side of the building. The research papers have been a huge area for us. If you guys don't know, most of the winners have gone on to either work in sports, found companies, or become Kurt Goldsberry. And this year what we did is we have 4 different tracks. There's a basketball track, a baseball track, an other sports track, and a business track. And we had over 180 submissions. There were 2 finalists that were selected that are presenting today. Make sure you check them out. We're going to pick 4 finalists who will present at lunchtime tomorrow in here. And we have our judges for that are going to be people like Daryl and Nate Silver and Edward Tufte. So they're going to evaluate those research papers. So that's a new wrinkle that we think will be great. We've expanded the competitive advantage talks. There's 14 of them. Those are all invited speakers who are industry leaders and who are actually really using analytics in their day-to-day, and that'll be informative, especially, I think, for the students. We have a new data science and visualization room that we've been working with Booz Allen Hamilton on, and make sure to check that out. It is really cool. Our startup competition, we have 11 companies this year, and we split it into a pre-money and a post-money track, so just to kind of better differentiate. And then actually yesterday, we hosted our inaugural hackathon presented by ESPN, and I sat in on the student portion of it. I unfortunately couldn't see the open division, but it was really interesting and fascinating to see how much people could come up with in 3.5 hours. And so we'll be selecting the winner tomorrow during the Alpha Awards. So I have a couple thank yous. First, I'd like to thank all of our 19 sponsors, but most especially ESPN, who's been our presenting sponsor since the third year. For all of you who are here, you know that our sponsors allow us to keep the cost of attending the conference very affordable for both folks in the industry, but especially for students, and that's very important to us. And then lastly, but probably most importantly, I want to thank the 54 MIT Sloan students who I've had the opportunity to work with over the past year, and most specifically Danielle Russell and Paul Campbell, who have been nothing short of extraordinary. As you are probably aware, I was a little disposed for a couple of weeks there with the Super Bowl, and it was crunch time, and they really have done a fantastic job. So please give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you, Dean Schmidtlein, and good morning and welcome to all of you. As Jessica said, my name is Danielle Russell, and I am a second-year MBA student at MIT Sloan, and one of the 2 student co-leads for this year's conference. My fellow co-lead, Paul Campbell, and I would like to thank all of you, extend a huge thank you for making the trip out to Boston today on a cold February weekend, so we really appreciate it. We inherited the leadership of this conference right after last year's event, and we have truly spent the last 12 months working to put on a great event. And that is really worthy of the time and effort and expense that all of you have put forth to join us here today. We are excited to be presenting the largest conference yet, and we hope that all of you have the chance to avail yourselves of the panels, presentations, and other activities that are offered here this weekend. You know, as MBA students, we came to MIT Sloan to have the opportunity to do hands-on work and action learning, which is one of the big focuses of MIT Sloan, and to really create a lasting impact. And we believe that the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference over the past 9 years has truly left a lasting impact in the sports industry, and we are very proud to be associated with it. We'd also like to thank our fantastic chair, Jessica Gelman, who along with Daryl Morey has poured so much into the growth and development of this conference over the past 9 years, and somehow managed to balance a family, a Super Bowl championship, and a lot more. So we really thank you very much for that. And of course, to the dedicated group of MIT Sloan organizing students who have truly put so much time and effort and thought into making this a fantastic event for all of you. So we could not thank them enough. And we certainly learned a lesson or 2 in leadership from putting on this event that perhaps couldn't be learned in the context of a case study in class. So each of the 54 students has done a tremendous job. You should have seen them all yesterday, and we're really proud to be here with you. But we'd like to extend a special thank you to our leadership team, who is Steve Burt, Joe Dini, Tom DeFalco, David Jacobs, Zachary Levine, Michael Parker, Kimberly Sheldon, and Adam Trena. Truly, we would not be sitting here on this stage in front of you today if it wasn't for them and their fantastic teams, just putting so much time and effort into this over the last few months. And of course, we'd like to say a huge thank you to the volunteers. We have 90+ volunteers. Many of them are classmates at Sloan and also from other organizations. And we truly could not do this event without them. So thank you all for coming.
And we'd also like to thank all 19 of our sponsors. As Jess mentioned, in addition to ESPN, we've got a number of great sponsors. So Zebra Technologies, Ticketmaster, SAP, Core Software, Wasserman Media Group, Booz Allen Hamilton, Ropes & Gray, Catapult, MLB Advanced Media, Tableau, DraftKings, CDW, FanDuel, StubHub, Thuzio, Ryerson University, Polar, and SportIQ. They've been fantastic supporters of the conference, and we really encourage you to check out their booths on the second floor to see what they've brought. We'd also like to thank Dean Schmidtlein and the MIT Sloan School of Management for their support throughout the conference over the past 9 years, and especially this year. And most importantly, we would like to thank our friends and family who have put up with us as we've fairly single-mindedly been focused on putting this event on over the past couple months. With that, I think we just have a few more logistical reminders before we officially get underway. The first thing, you'll probably notice that this room tends to fill up, especially over there as we start to get to panels. So we would ask, as you make your way into the panel rooms, if you see empty space, please fill in all the way to the opposite side of the door so that the people arriving closer to the start of the panel will have a space to sit. Also, you should have all received a program and an insert in your gift bag as you walked in. As tends to happen, the program may be a little bit out of date, and the insert as well may be a little bit out of date. So if you're looking for the official information source of record, it is the SSAC15 app. It's available in the Apple Store and Google Play for Android. And if you're on another platform, if you point your browser to m.sloansportsconference.com, you'll have access to the web app. So that's how to get all the official happenings right up to date, and that will be updated throughout the conference. We're really thrilled to have expanded our networking and recruiting program this year. We have over 300 candidates, over 200 candidates and 30 company representatives taking part in the career conversations and resume review sessions tomorrow morning. If you're registered to take part in that, you should have received a schedule about that earlier this week. The last thing we'd like to mention is feel more than free. In fact, I encourage you to tweet, post to Facebook, Vine, Pin, Tumble, post on Sign a Weibo, however many different platforms we have these days, everything and anything from the conference using the hashtag SSAC15. However, we'd like to remind you that actually filming panels is strictly prohibited. I think that's about everything from us. Again, we're really thrilled. There's going to be an amazing panel right on this stage starting in just a few minutes. So again, from all of us up here, from the leadership team, from the organizers, from the volunteers, from the sponsors, from the Sloan School, thank you very much for coming out. We're really looking forward to the conference, and we hope you all have a great time.
Thank you.